how many people do you know that will stick to eating chicken, broccoli, and rice and nothing else every 3 hours?
Right.
That's
Okay.
why it's wrong.
Right.
Like if you like eating chicken, broccoli, and rice, like I know some bros, and they're like, honestly, I don't really like cooking. It's just so easy just to eat chicken, broccoli, and rice, take it to work with me. And I'm like, you crack on. Like, but my clients, like my demographic is typically women between the ages of like 30 to 55 who their priorities outside of fitness, normally their mums, normally they got another half. I don't know what's easier, like having a partner or not. Like sometimes it sounds like it's like another child, like a house to look after, a job they work, and like you're going to put them on chicken, broccoli, and rice. Like it's not going to work. They need more flexibility. So that surely from an adherence perspective.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So when you're on that strict diet of, for example, chicken, rice, broccoli, so you're saying the temptation then is more to go away from that and start eating junk food, for example.
So when I take someone on,
Yeah.
and the reason I get annoyed about poor, what I would deem as poor practice is, imagine you've just lived your life and you never really thought about like health or anything like that, and it's finally caught up with you and you're like, okay, I'm gonna go hire someone to help me out with this, and
Yeah.
then your first experience is chicken, broccoli, and rice, or like and the workouts are like incredibly grueling, and they like leave you like sore for days, and like it's just this intense, restrictive, horrible thing, and you're just like, oh no, I'll just be unhealthy. Like, do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I
And
think it's not the it's like I say, like I said, I wouldn't have had a plan B if it had worked for me, and then I didn't ever learn any better. Like if someone said to me, it's just like I just find chicken, broccoli, and rice really, really easy to stick to. I'm like, yeah, crack on. But like you need to know that if at any point chicken, broccoli, and rice is too restrictive, there are other ways. Like it doesn't have to be restrictive. Like if um
I do actually like
I'm not
your posts on Facebook because you talk a lot about this, about creating a good balance between healthy food whilst not saying to yourself that you're not allowed to have any treats at all. So I've seen a
yeah.
few posts where you talk about that, about the importance of treating yourself.
There's a guy called Martin McDonald who's absolutely brilliant when it comes to evidence-based nutrition.
Right,
So I've not looked at the studies in this, but uh, he was saying how the rate of perceived restriction on a diet is an indication of your ability to stick to that diet.
right,
So yeah, actually, interestingly, you could be on the same diet as someone, and if you perceived it to be more restrictive than they did, they would have more chance of it. So you could get, I don't know, say one of the bros who just likes a really, really simple diet, and he can just happily eat chicken, broccoli, and rice all the time. His perceived level of restriction on that diet isn't going to be a lot. Whereas if you take someone who works in an office in a more social environment, and like food enjoyment is more important to them, and they've got to like have chicken, broccoli, and rice, and they don't even really enjoy it, their perceived level of restriction is going to be really, really high.
yeah. No, that's really interesting. So I'd say with the whole health and fitness game, there's because what you mentioned earlier about the advice being given about food and healthy food and what it means to eat well, what would be, say, if you were to give one piece of advice that you've learned from your own life experience of trying to find a balance between knowing what's right to eat and also not shying away from the odd treat here and there? Like, how do you manage it yourself? I'm sure you have cravings for desserts and takeaways. How do you manage it yourself?
I think the important thing is to know that you have unconditional permission to eat whatever you want,
Right,
and that nothing's off limits.
right,
But it's always a trade-off. So it's figuring out, is the short-term gratification worth the long-term feeling of your decisions? Um, and that's I think would be the best thing, because it's really easy to have an emotional reaction to a little bit of stress and then like go through a whole pack of chocolate. But if you're doing that all the time and then you hate how you feel, because of whether it's the poor energy because you've just crashed, whether it's because you hate that you can't fit into your favorite pair of jeans, or whatever it is. I think it's weighing up whether your habits are actually serving you and whether they're actually making you feel better.